What if 100 trained American Pitbull Terriers stood against a single adult male lion? On paper, it sounds obvious. 100 bodies, 400 jaws, a wave of movement, but nature doesn't work on paper. Because in the wild, numbers alone do not create dominance. They create chaos. And apex predators don't fear chaos. They evolved inside it. This isn't about who is braver. This isn't about loyalty. This is about why biology has limits that multiplication can't break. Point 1. Scale, presence, and apex. Predator psychology. The first mistake people make when imagining this scenario is assuming all animals perceive threat through numbers. Domestic dogs do. Apex predators do not. A lion does not process 100 opponents as 100 individual threats. Its brain does not count bodies. It reads mass, dominance signals, posture, territory, and intent. Lions evolved to confront dangerous situations alone when necessary. Male lions regularly face rival coalitions, hyenas, and large ungulates that outweigh them significantly. A trained pit bull, even in a group, does not carry apex authority. Pit bulls are engagement-driven animals. They are psychologically wired for direct confrontation under human direction. Their courage comes from intensity, not hierarchy control. A lion's psychology is different. A lion is not reactive. It does not escalate emotionally. It does not rush without necessity. Its presence alone changes behavior around it. This is called predatory suppression, a phenomenon where smaller predators and animals alter or abandon behavior due to proximity of an apex species. Wolves feel it near bears. Hyenas feel it near lions. Even crocodiles respond to it. Dogs feel it too. No amount of training removes millions of years of predator recognition embedded in canine neurology. A pit bull may not consciously fear a lion, but its body responds differently. Stress hormones spike, coordination changes, vocalizations increase, pack cohesion degrades because pit bulls are not pack hunters in the ecological sense. They do not practice cooperative strategy without human coordination. The lion does not need coordination. Its nervous system is designed to manage multiple threats within proximity. It tracks movement, sound, vibration, and direction simultaneously. Lions evolved fighting multiple attackers with claws, teeth, and body positioning that denies access to vulnerable zones. This is not because lions are more aggressive. It is because lions are functionally dominant organisms. From a psychological standpoint alone, the lion controls the mental environment long before physical interaction is even considered. Point 2. Numbers versus space. Why 100 doesn't mean surround. The second critical misunderstanding is spatial logic. People imagine 100 pit bulls forming a perfect circle, coordinating like soldiers. This does not happen in animal reality. Pit bulls are not wolves. They do not hunt cooperatively. They do not assign roles instinctively. Large numbers of dogs create interference, not efficiency. As group size increases, collision risk increases. Sightlines disappear, vocal stress escalates. Individuals block each other's movement. Dominance confusion emerges inside the group itself. A lion, by contrast, is spatially efficient. Its body orientation alone denies access to the rear. Its tail movement signals direction shifts. Its shoulder width and leg stance create a physical barrier that limits how many opponents can approach simultaneously. No matter how many animals exist, only a few can engage at any one time. This is a universal biological constraint called contact bottlenecking. Only so many bodies fit into functional space. This is why lions can repel large groups of hyenas, even when hyenas outnumber them 4-1. Numbers do not negate geometry. A lion's claw reach, jaw snap radius, and leap distance create a three-dimensional denial zone. Animals approaching from the front face immediate risk. Those approaching from the sides risk displacement. Those approaching from behind must cross shadowed zones where reaction time favors the larger predator. Pit bulls rely on forward commitment. Lions punish forward commitment. Point 3. Damage economics. Why force does not scale with numbers. One of the most common mental traps in hypothetical comparisons like this is assuming that damage is additive. In simple terms, people imagine that if one animal can cause a certain amount of harm, then 100 of that animal must be capable of causing 100 times the harm. Nature does not work that way. In biological systems, damage is constrained by access, timing, and vulnerability. The presence of 100 pit bulls does not mean 100 points of contact. It means 100 bodies competing for a very limited physical interface around a single organism. This is known as contact saturation. A lion has a fixed perimeter. Only a few animals can occupy the immediate zone around its body at any moment. No matter how many additional animals exist beyond that zone, their ability to contribute to damage is delayed, indirect, or null. They are not applying force. They are waiting, colliding with each other, or reacting to changes at the contact point. Pitbulls inflict damage through repeated application of force over time. Their effectiveness relies on sustained pressure. Bite endurance, persistence, and refusal to disengage allow trauma to accumulate gradually. This mechanism works best when the opponent's defensive capacity can be overwhelmed slowly. A lion does not permit slow accumulation. Lions are built to end resistance quickly because they hunt animals that are capable of injuring them severely in seconds. Antelope, buffalo, and zebra can maim or kill predators if allowed prolonged struggle. As a result, the lion's design emphasizes discrete, high-impact damage events rather than long exchanges. A single motion, claw, bite, or body displacement can generate injury sufficient to remove an opponent from functional participation entirely. This is not about ferocity, it is about energy efficiency. When damage is applied in discrete units rather than gradually, numbers lose their advantage. A large quantity of small contributors cannot outpace a system that removes contributors entirely at each interaction. Another crucial factor is structural mismatch. Pitbulls are resilient within canine limits, but their skeletal and muscular systems are not designed to absorb the kind of force a lion generates routinely. Lions deliver force designed to disable prey that can weigh several hundred pounds. When that level of force meets a smaller structure, the outcome is not gradual wear, it is immediate mechanical failure. This does not imply weakness, it implies scale. As damage begins to accumulate among members of the group efficiency declines non-linearly. This is known as systemic failure. The loss of even a few functional units disproportionately affects the overall behavior of the group. Stress increases, cohesion collapses, and contribution efficiency drops sharply. In short, damage in this scenario does not accumulate toward the lion. It accumulates against the system attempting to apply it. Point 4. Endurance, fatigue, and group degradation over time. Time is often imagined as favoring numbers, but prolonged stress environments reveal the opposite. Large groups do not age uniformly under pressure. They degrade unevenly. Pitbulls are physiologically designed for short duration, high-intensity output. Their stress response accelerates heart rate, muscle contraction speed, and oxygen consumption rapidly. While this creates impressive early performance, it also leads to faster exhaustion, increased coordination errors, and reduced physical efficiency over time. This is not a flaw, it is specialization. However, specialization becomes a liability when extended duration is introduced. In large groups, fatigue does not appear simultaneously. Some individuals reach exhaustion earlier, others hesitate, some disengage momentarily. These micro-failures ripple outward, disrupting movement flow and increasing stress among remaining active individuals. Group behavior under stress follows predictable patterns. Vocalization increases. Movement becomes erratic. Internal obstruction rises. Individual timing desynchronizes. These effects compound with size. A lion does not experience group fatigue. It manages individual energy economy. Lions evolved to conserve energy because unnecessary exertion increases injury risk and reduces hunting success. They alternate between stillness and explosive output, keeping metabolic demand low until action is unavoidable. This difference is profound. As time progresses, pitbulls collectively spend energy faster than it can be replenished. The lion, meanwhile, spends energy only when decisive effect is achieved. This asymmetry widens steadily. Another overlooked factor is psychological fatigue. Extended exposure to an apex predator triggers sustained stress responses in domestic animals. Elevated cortisol levels impair coordination, memory, and motor control. Even highly trained animals are not immune to this biological response. Over time, stress undermines physical capability before conscious behavior changes appear. The lion is not experiencing novelty stress. The pitbulls are. Endurance, therefore, is not about who can move longer. It is about who remains coherent longer. And coherence decays faster in large, unmanaged systems than in single organisms optimized for solitary dominance. Point 5. Final assessment. Why the question itself is misleading. This comparison endures because humans instinctively believe quantity defeats quality. In modern systems, economics, warfare, production, numbers often dominate outcomes, but nature operates under different constraints. Ecology is governed by thresholds, not totals. The American Pit Bull Terrier represents an extreme within domestication. It is powerful, committed, and resilient relative to its size. In controlled environments, its intensity is formidable. But the lion represents a ceiling. A ceiling is not something you overcome gradually. It is something you either reach or cannot. Apex predators define ceilings because their design exists beyond scaling. Their physiology, psychology, and biomechanics operate in ranges that smaller systems cannot breach no matter how numerous they become. This does not diminish domestic animals. It contextualizes them. Numbers do not negate structural dominance, energy efficiency, damage discreteness, psychological authority. Those are multiplicative advantages. The lion is not stronger because it is violent. It is dominant because it evolved in environments where failure meant extinction. This comparison is not about spectacle. It is about understanding why apex predators sit alone at the top of food webs. When we ask 100 versus 1, we are revealing a misunderstanding of how power works in nature. Nature does not count bodies. It measures effectiveness per unit of action. And in that calculation, multiplication reaches a limit long before apex design does.